Hello, hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing tonight? Boy, oh boy, have I missed you. I hope that you guys are doing fantastic. Mi homa tu kidogo, lakini kila kitu iko sambamba. Let me tell you, tonight we have a fantastic show. Of course, top stories from across the country from our brilliant reporters. We'll be having that. But of course, the goodies. We have Willis Ocheng ready to join us from Kisii County with which is which. Do we say Betty or do we say Betty? And of course, you know you can interact with us throughout our social media platforms. Kama kuna swali wataka kuuliza Willis, make sure you do that. He's going to be joining us live from Kisii County. Now, coming to my lovely guests, Manze. Hey, ladies, can I get a who run the world?
Girls.
Who run the world? I'm so excited to have these two queens, two warriors. First, of course, we have Nduta. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
You're going to have a good time tonight?
Absolutely.
What does your t-shirt say?
Shake it till you make it.
Shake it till you make it. And we'll be telling you why. Well, actually, she is a Parkinson's disease warrior. And she's here to tell you can shake it till you make it. I love that. And of course, we have Agneta. How are you doing tonight?
Great.
Tell us about just, your scars are not, no, the scars are the jewels.
They are beautiful, my beautiful babies. Yeah?
The beautiful babies.
Yes.
Okay,
and I'll
so
explain why I'll say that.
Okay, I like that. Beautiful babies in studio tonight, and as you can see, it's all about girls tonight. It's going to be a great, great show tonight. And of course, we're talking about resilience. And tonight we have our question of the day. Let's see what we have here tonight. We're asking you guys, how do you stay positive while living with a condition others may not actually understand? We want you to talk to us, of course, on our social media platforms. It's gonna be a great, great show. Let's begin the show with the highlights. Let's go.
Chiefs and security officers start implementing President William Ruto's directive to track and enroll all learners yet to report for grade 10. President William Ruto has nominated Mama Ida Odinga as Kenya's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations Environment Programme. HIV patients in Kenya voice concern as a U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization takes effect, raising fears over the future support for antiretroviral programs.
Well, tonight is going to be a great night right here on this Friday with me, Betty Kialo. Let's, of course, begin with the top stories tonight. Our sign and language anchor is Catherine Simeloy. Now, President William Ruto has issued a stern warning to individuals and groups accused of exploiting parents through illegal school uniform sales and unauthorized fees. Now, the head of state has emphasized that no child should be denied access to education because of unpaid levies or lack of proper uniform. Well, Faith Wangari tells us more.
President William Ruto has issued a firm directive that no child shall be denied access to education due to lack of school uniforms. The head of state emphasizes that all learners, including those without uniforms, must be allowed to enter classes immediately.
There is no child who will be kept out of class because of uniform. Even if they have the uniform for the junior school, they can transition to secondary school with that uniform.
Parents in Nairobi's Roysambu constituency, for instance, report that some schools are charging excessive fees, placing a heavy financial burden on families and preventing some schools from attending school. They say schools are demanding registration fees, PTA contributions, and the purchase of new uniforms before allowing enrollment.
Ilikuwa na kesi nyingine ya mzazi mwingine alikuwa mgonjwa ako rifaro, anaendaga rifaro, but akienda shule anaitishwa pesa, unashindwa hizi pesa atazitoa wapi? Na at the same time ameitishwa hizi pesa, kuna matibabu inamngoja mbele.
The government has, however, reiterated that basic education is free and that illegal fees are not permitted. Funds have been released to support school this term, and the Ministry of Education has instructed schools to admit all learners, even those without uniforms. Local chiefs and education officials have been tasked with ensuring compliance within the law.
If we have provided money for teaching, and we pay the teachers, and we have the classrooms, There is absolutely no reason why anybody would keep our children out of school.
Faith Wangari for TV47.
Now, as the government pushes for 100% transition to grade 10 under the competency-based education system, many parents are struggling to keep up with the rising school-related costs. Despite the policy, families are still required to pay fees, forcing thousands of learners, especially in marginalized areas, to delay or abandon their studies. With Kajiado County recording one of the lowest transition rates in the country, concerns are growing over access, affordability, and equity in education. Suzanne Locho reports.
Across the government schools nationwide, efforts to ensure every student transits to grade 10 are underway. The national transition rate for grade 10 stands at 91%, but some counties like Kajiado lag behind at just 64%. The main challenges remain school fees and the long distances some students must travel to reach school. To support the needy learners, the government has launched a 20 billion shillings education scholarship program, with Kajiado receiving funding for 4,700 students, the highest in the country.
No learner should be denied a chance to join any secondary school because, or rather on account of lack of school fees. All learners must be admitted. And we are saying we are expecting 100% transition.
With support from local leaders and education stakeholders, students are now being taken to schools for registration, with principals and parents working together to ensure the process runs smoothly.
So today we have ferried all the children from different villages here. We have head teachers, principals of senior schools. We are now doing the system admissions here at Kwanza Girls.
In the Nyumba Kumi, we have able to map up the area, and it is just one child by name Joseph Gashoka from Kebudha Primary who have not reported to school.
Students are encouraged to report to school early, while the government continues to promote inclusive education, ensuring that no child is left behind in the grade 10 transition. Susan Locho for TV47, Nairobi.
Now, police have launched investigations into the death of a Form 3 student at Gatamayu High School in Lari constituency, Kiambu County. Now, the student reportedly complained of chest pains before being rushed to a nearby hospital where he later passed away. As authorities seek to establish the circumstances surrounding the incident, the family is demanding answers, citing concerns over the availability of medical services at the school. Winnie John reports.
Jimmy Anaro, a Form 3 student at Gatamayo High School in Lari, Kiambu County, complained of chest pains early this morning, but was reportedly not allowed to leave school for medical attention. Classmates later assisted him and took him to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead while receiving treatment. The incident has raised serious questions from the family about how the student was cared for at the school and the emergency measures that were or were not taken. Christine Nyangweso, the mother of the deceased, says she was only contacted by the school principal after Jimmy had been taken to the hospital. She expressed concerns over delays in medical attention and the absence of an on-site clinic, raising questions about the school's accountability.
Walimu hakuna habari, ameniambia ile ni kunirushia tu maneno. Hajaniambia tujakaa chini wanielezeni nini ilikuwa mbaya. Lakini kuna mambo tu amerusha, akasema ati Jimmy alikuwa anakuanga na ugonjwa wa moyo. Mtoto wangu hajawahi kuwa na ugonjwa wa moyo.
The school has yet to release an official statement intensifying the family's worries. Police in Lari, led by Deputy County Commissioner Eric Mogaka, have confirmed that a formal investigation is underway. Authorities are now working closely with the school management, the Ministry of Education, and the family to ensure a thorough post-mortem exercise is conducted and to provide clear answers. Jimmy's body is currently at General Cargo Funeral Home in Githunguri. Munene John, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the United States has officially completed its withdrawal from the World Health Organization, marking a major shift in global health diplomacy. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has confirmed the move, ending years of debate over America's membership in the global health body, as the WHO urges Washington to reconsider. Concerns are now growing over the potential impact on health programs in developing countries, including Kenya. Elizabeth Atieno reports.
The U.S. government has officially withdrawn its financial support to the World Health Organization. The impacts are cutting deep right here in the country, where maternal health, TB, malaria and HIV programs have been greatly affected.
Kuna zile services zenye tulikuwa tunapewa free of charge, kama kutolewa damu, kufanyiwa other tests. Saa hii unaweza enda ufanyiwe moja ama mbili, ingine unaitishwa kulipishwa.
Ukienda kwa facility utapata ya kwamba saizi hakuna PrEP, alafu kitu ingine hakuna condoms.
Kenya has been reporting an increase in HIV cases, with 20,105 new infections reported in 2025 alone. Kenya will need to find other ways to raise the 42 billion Kenya shillings that was being contributed by PEPFAR in the fight against HIV.
Testing has been a problem. Laboratories, CD4 viral load and monitoring of HIV has been a problem.
There is also a new strain in multi-drug resistant TB, which affects over 1,000 Kenyans annually. 10 billion Kenya shillings is needed annually for TB prevention, diagnosis, treatment and care. Malaria, on the other hand, remains a significant public health issue in Kenya, particularly around the Lake Victoria region, with 4.1 million cases reported in 2025. The World Health Organization reports that this year's budget is short by 25%, with more than 1,000 staff at risk of losing their jobs.
By 30 June 2026, mid-year, the number of WHO global staff will be projected to reach 7,360, which represents a 22% reduction.
The U.S. government is the lead contributor to WHO. In the 2022-2023 financial year, the U.S. contributed $1.2 billion to WHO, laying bare the financial gap left in the Global Health Organization.
Withdrawal from WHO is a lose for the United States, and it's also a lose for the rest of the world.
In a January 2025 executive order, the U.S. government said it intends to withdraw from WHO due to its failure to manage the COVID-19 pandemic and for demanding unfairly onerous payments from the U.S. government compared to other countries like China. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
President William Ruto has nominated Mama Ida Odinga as Kenya's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations Environment Programme. Now, the appointment announced today has been forwarded to Parliament for vetting and approval. If approved, Mama Ida will replace Ababu Namwamba, who is currently serving as Kenya's ambassador to Uganda. Fatime has the details. All right, now the entry of Winnie Odinga, daughter of former opposition leader Ida Odinga, into active grassroots politics is sending shockwaves through the Orange Democratic Movement. Now, Winnie is now openly challenging the party's old guard, including her uncle Oburu Oginga, as she pushes for generational change and questions ODM's cooperation with President William Ruto's administration. Political analysts say she is carving out an independent path, positioning herself as a bold heir to her father's political legacy. Apollo Kamau reports.
31 years after the botched takeover of Ford Kenya, Athika Stadium in 1995, history appears to be repeating itself in the house of Jaramogi. 35-year-old Winnie Odinga is now playing a familiar script, leading a youthful push within ODM, aimed at wresting party leadership from her uncle Oburu Oginga. The move mirrors the fierce 1994 power struggle in which Raila Odinga sought to inherit Ford Kenya, the party founded by his late father Jaramogi Odinga.
Tukiuliza maswali wanasema tutoke kwenye chama. Tukitoka watabaki na nani kwenye chama? Chama ni ya wananchi.
Just like her father Raila, who carved out his political path after Jaramogi's death in January 1994. Winnie, following Odinga's death in October 2025, has emerged bold, combative, and assertive. She has openly questioned Oburu and the ODM top command, challenging their capacity to lead the party and their engagement with President William Ruto's UDA party.
We are looking and we are wondering, those that are taking it upon themselves to manage it now, are they capable of managing that relationship?
Political analysts say Winnie's defiance, including holding a separate rally in her father's Kibra stronghold a week ago after Oburu, signals a calculated move to position herself as heir to Odinga's political legacy.
She wants to portray herself as somebody who is independent, who is thinking, and wants to be the heir to the Raila legacy.
Her return to active local politics, widely seen as a continuation of Odinga's defiant spirit, has jolted ODM leaders and unsettled the wider Jaramogi family, prompting the Kawur subclan to offer mediation between Ankoenis. Apul Kamau, TV47.
United opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa have criticized President William Ruto over what they term a failed system that they say is not serving the needs of Kenyans despite what they describe as daily promises by the government. Now, the leaders pointed to challenges in the education sector, which they argue has failed Kenyan children. They insist that the current situation where some grade 10 students are unable to report to school reflects a struggling economy. Now, the opposition leaders further emphasized the need for a credible electoral system to guarantee free and fair elections in 2027. This comes ahead of a meeting scheduled with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC next week, where they plan to pile pressure on IEBC CEO Hussein Marjan to step aside, arguing that he should not be involved in the next polls.
As a united opposition, tukaulizane, tuangaliane the new IEBC, tuwaulize, do you want to go down the history of this nation as a commission guided by infamy, by that thieving mentality? The country has come a long way. They do not accept it. Therefore, Wakili has written the right of information. We want the mtu anaitwa Maria, what's her name? The CEO, Marjan, atoke mapema. He cannot be the CEO for IBC for the next election.
Tunapoongea over 800,000 watoto wa Kenya hawajui wataenda shuleni vipi. Sasa huyu Kasongo anasema ati sisi upinzani hatuna plan, ati hatuna akili. Lakini imeonekana wazi the mess in the education sector, the crisis in the education sector hivi sasa. Inaonekana ya kwamba whatever plan William Ruto had is not working. Kama over 800,000 children wanaweza kuwa wako nyumbani hawajaingia kwa shule na anatuma machief. Wewe chief akikuja kwako umelala njaa, hauna pesa, atakulazimisha achukue mtoto. Tumesema vile wenzangu amesema hapa, kama unatuma machief kwa maboma wachukue watoto, basi watume na school fees, ndio? Watume na uniforms, ndio? Sababu inawezekana sisi kuhakikisha there is free education kwa watoto wetu, kwa masomo ya msingi na vile vile ya secondary.
Now, artists in Mombasa have raised concerns over government plans to construct a railways training institute at the historic Little Theatre grounds. Now, the venue has for decades served as a cultural hub for performers across the coast region. While the government says the project will strengthen skills development and create jobs, artists fear the move could disrupt their livelihoods.
Following a concern that was raised by the leaders from this county to put up a railway training institute in this county. Based on that, we have intentions of setting up this railway training institute here in the Little Theatre Club, which is a property that is owned by the Kenya Railways Corporation. The land is owned by the Kenya Railways Corporation. So I've come here today to have a meeting with the creative youth.
Bado tunataka tuelewe nini Kenya Railways atakufanya hapa ndani ya Little Theatre, ndio maana PS akasema tu form a committee. So kwa sasa nataka tuelewane tu kitu kimoja. Little Theatre hawajaamua, ambayo Little Theatre is a club, na club ambayo ni ya creatives kuwa hapa kwa TVET.
Kwa railway lazima uwe umepitia kwa, wakikuajiri lazima uwe umepitia kwa college yao. So msukumo kaja kutoka kwa viongozi ili tupate na sisi hapa Mombasa a training institute hapa ndani ya Mombasa.
Tungependa kwamba tubaki na hii theater hapa, lakini iwe modernized ili iweze kuchukua mambo mengi ambayo kwa sasa hayawezi kufanyika.
All right, so that's the first part of our show. Of course, the top stories that we have been preparing for you. Well, we now want to cross over to some business. Now, the Kenya Revenue Authority has temporarily suspended the filing of nil tax returns until the end of March as part of efforts to convert inactive taxpayers into active contributors. Now, KRA Deputy Commissioner Taxpayer Services, Patience Njau, says the suspension will allow the authority to validate taxpayer data and strengthen compliance during this period. KRA will audit income tax, withholding tax, e-terms and customs records to identify individuals and businesses previously outside the tax net. Now, Kenya has strengthened evidence-based water planning following the handover of the water availability and demand tool to the National Irrigation Authority. Now, the digital platform integrates satellite data with water availability, demand and storage analysis. Officials say the tool will improve irrigation planning, enhance climate resilience, strengthen water governance and accelerate irrigated agriculture to boost food security.
Kenya is a water-scarce country, and based on the ambitious, programs which we have in terms of food security in this country, we will need to have such kind of tools to enable us to be able to design the infrastructure, especially dams and water banks, which are needed to do the necessary interventions. As you know, as we have said,
tool is going to be very important, especially on the economic plan of the country, in that when we design our dams, this tool is going to help us design appropriate dams, and that's get value for money. In terms, it will help us avoid over-designing a dam. Thereby, you design a dam that is too big, too big compared to the water available in that particular basin.
Cooperatives in Mwea and other rice-growing regions have confirmed that all locally produced rice delivered has been fully taken up and paid for, easing farmer concerns over stock backlogs and delayed payments. Now, during a visit by senior government officials, the Mwea Rice Growers Cooperative reported minimal carry-over stocks and timely payments by the National Cereals and Produce Board. The government reaffirmed its commitment to purchase all locally produced rice while using strategic imports to stabilize national supply and prices. All right, so you know what? From biashara tunaingia maneno ya mchezo. But remember, of course, we started earlier On the show, we have a fantastic, two female guests, power. To these girls tonight, Nduta Bugori and Faith Agneta. They're going to be talking to us how they've been able to live with the conditions that they're living with, that is Parkinson's disease and eczema. These girls are champions, and funny enough, they just take it so lightly, and they live life, and they enjoy it. I want to, of course, know how they do it, and remember, that's why we have our question of the day, because we also want to hear from you. How do you actually deal or stay positive while living with a condition others may not, actually understand or even see? And I don't even think it's all just about diseases. It could actually be just pressure ya life, maneno mingi ya social media, huku kunafanya hivi, huku kunawaka moto, nini. So tonight we have that amazing conversation with the two ladies. But before that happens, let's of course give it up for some sports. Now, Kenya has taken a major step forward in its preparations to host the Africa Cup of Nations after the government confirmed that the 60,000-seater Ida Odinga International Stadium is now more than 80% complete. Now, the update signals strong progress on what is Kenya's most ambitious sports infrastructure project since independence, boosting confidence in the country's readiness to host a world-class continental tournament.
For me, is to confirm to the nation that the Pamoja AFCON is happening.
I'm satisfied that all the works are on schedule and the infrastructure or the Ida Odinga sports complex is substantially complete.
You can tell the drainage system is being done. Finally, we'll have the grass done, but the grass, as per the requirement of CAF and FIFA, will have the grass grown naturally.
Now, record Kenyan champions Gor Mahia will be aiming to stay on course in the SportPesa Premier League title race when they face Bidco United on Saturday afternoon in a high-stakes clash at Kasarani Stadium. Now, with the kickoff set for 4 p.m., head coach Charles O'Connor says his side is in top form and ready for the challenge, expressing confidence in their improved style of play ahead of the crucial encounter. Elsewhere, KCB take on Tusker, Ulinzi Stars face Murang'a Seal, while Posta Rangers battle Mathare United in other fixtures. Now, the professional golfers of Kenya Equator Tour, I'm going to ask Phyllis about that, teed off today at the Nairobi Golf Club, bringing together some of the country's top professional golfers. Among the players in action are Jeff Kubwa, Matthew Wahome, Naomi Wafula, Jacob Okello, and Samuel Chege. As the tournament runs until Sunday, the event aims to prepare local professionals for the upcoming Magical Kenya Open while promoting the growth of golf nationwide. All right, so that of course brings us to the end of part 1 of the show tonight. Like I mentioned, mambo leo ni moto moto. That's why I have this color on, you know, in a color like a burning bush. So of course, earlier on in the week, I posted that we're going to be having these 2 fantastic girls. And of course, that's Faith Agneta, who is a warrior for eczema. And actually, the way I came across her, I was just on my social media scrolling, you know, like all of us like to do. And after I just saw this girl, and she had these banners and she was saying, you know, talking about eczema. And I was like, this is so brave. And so I was like, I have to get her. And the other guest tonight in Bogori, I also came across this funny video of her seeing the way she shakes a lot. And you know, I was like, I have to have these 2 girls because, I mean, they're just inspiring. And you know how they deal with this, you know, conditions. It's just, honestly, it's just so nice, all right? So just going to my feedback, and of course, what a lot of people had to say is that, let me just, actually, here we go. So Miss Kisongochi, I just said, I love you. There we go. I love that. Thank you so much. And remember, you can interact with us on all, you know, platforms. Talk to me on my social media. I've just posted a picture of us together. You can just talk to us about, if you know somebody who actually is battling eczema or Parkinson's disease, talk to us. Leave some love in the comment section. Mary Queen 6204, you say, I wish I get the confidence like you. Yeah, honestly, Faith, you are confident. I love this. So keep them coming, and of course, we'll continue to put them up on our screens. Another one here, it's Erica Maina. You're saying, hey, sending you my love and hugs. Hey, this is a lot of love. I love it. I love it here tonight. So remember, like I mentioned, I've just posted a picture on our Instagram. You can definitely talk to us. If you know somebody who has been dealing, of course, with Parkinson's disease, or of course, eczema, talk to us on the comments. If it is you, share with us. This another one. This other one here, this one is related to Nduta. Nduta is such a nice picture of you. Thanks for sharing. I try to incorporate in my daily regime. It looks like you have a great support team, all right? Of course, she's talking about the Parkinson's disease that Nduta, of course, continues to, you know, to champion everywhere she goes. So thank you so much for the feedback. We love it here. Keep them coming. So you know what? We'll take a short commercial break, and we're going to be coming back, of course, with more, including Willis Ocheng, who's going to be joining us from Kisii County, and of course, our guest tonight. Actually, here we have him. Willis, how are you doing tonight? Are you there?